Hi everybody, this is Rita Holmes, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. I'm setting up my computer right now, make sure I can get everything in line with what I'm doing. Here we go. There we go. Okay, like I said, I'm Rita Holmes, independent demonstrator from Ohio with Stampin' Up, and I am going to bring you a little card today. I do videos every Tuesday on Facebook at my Stamp Crazy VIP page, where I also put PDFs of all the techniques or cards or whatever I do. I put a PDF out there on Tuesday also that you can print off to do at a later date if you want to do cards that way. But I'm going to start a new series today called the Circle Series, and I won't do it every single week, but you know, in that series, I am going to be doing cards with using circles, whether it be die cuts, stamps, or whatever, but it'll feature circles somewhere on the card. So I'm going to be doing that, and today will be my first card with that, and I've got several samples to show you. And I just want to touch base with you, let you know that if you do not have a demonstrator, I would love to be that demonstrator for you, and you can get in touch with me. You can use my website, ritaholmes.stampinup.net, and you can get a hold of me there. That's where you order. I do have a May host code, and when I flip my phone down, you'll be able to see all that, plus my email or anything. So if you don't have a catalog or you don't have a demonstrator to send you a catalog or that you order from, I would love to be that demonstrator that could get that catalog in your hands. And also, if you would like to order anything, or if you just like to watch videos, that's fine too, because I love making videos and that's what I do it for. I don't do it for the fame and the fortune. I just do it because I love to teach. And this has been my outlet since the pandemic, and I've loved it so much that I don't even know if I'm going back into teaching in my home anymore, because I love just doing the videos and stuff. So anyway, I am going to turn my phone, which means you're going to be looking at my ceiling for a minute. And I'm going to show you all the cards that I did, and we are going to make a couple quick cards, okay? So let's just flip the phone up. Look at my nice little ceiling up there. I'm in my basement. This is where I work. There we go. Okay, here's the PDF I was talking about that you can get at my Facebook group, Stamp Crazy VIP. Let me move my cord out of my way. And this is for today, so it tells you everything I used, how I did the card, and then it's going to give you pictures of the samples that I've made of different things to do. So let me show you the samples. And I'll tell you what groups of papers they came out of. Here are these, and you'll see that the papers match. You make 2 cards out of each set. And this all came out of the, I've said the name of it like 3 or 4 times today. Sweet Symmetry set. That's what these came out of. And I'm going to be using another paper out of that same set to do the cards that I'm going to show you today. I also did one with the art impression, or the inked impressions paper, and that are these cards, which is just 1 sheet of paper. I used the front and back side. This one I used 2 different papers. This is the front and back side of a piece of paper, and then I did the hand pinned, and that is just 1 sheet of paper, and I used the front and back of it. Very simple cards to do. I want to show this to you. I also decorated the inside, so whatever color my circles are is the color a piece of DSP I put on the inside to kind of pull the front of the card into the center of the card. So that is how that works. So let me get started and show you exactly what we are going to be doing. We will be using the sayings that I've used have come from the Sunny Sentiment Sayings set, which is really a cute set. You get 5 different sayings in there. And that is, I use these two on this card, but I'm just going to be using this one today on both cards. So that is my stamp set I used. I also used the layering circles, which is this set right here. This is one set. And I just did my circle die to match the sentiment I used. And then I used the 2 biggest scallop circles for my back side. Even on this one, you just see more of the color here. For the cutting of my circle here, I used this one, which measures 1 7/8 inch on the inside. So it's almost a 2-inch circle, which means if you don't have these, you could use circle punches. I forgot to tell them that in my live video this morning, but you could use circle punches. On a couple of my other cards that you saw, I used these die cuts, which was called Stitch So Sweetly. So you could use any die cuts with your sentiment. You could actually stamp, you know, do more stamping on your card, but I think the paper is our focal point, so I just wanted to put a sentiment on it. So let's get started. I've got my die out that I'm going to need. I'm going to set these off to the side a second. Here are the 2 papers that I'm going to be using today, and they are cut 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And I am using, it's this with the back side. So you can see they're both the same. So when I go to cut these with my die cut, I'm going to leave whatever is facing up on my card. I'll have one facing it this way and one facing this way. So I'm going to stack them with the way that they're going to be looking on my card. I'm going to bring in my embossing machine because I want to show you how to cut your circles. Not that you don't know how to cut circles, but there's just one little tip in here, so I wanted to make sure that I showed you that tip. So what you do, and I have to stand up for this, I have to be higher than my machine. I lay my papers on my cutting board, and then I'm going to line this die up in the corner, but I'm just going to line that up to the point, but not to cut the point. I want that point to stay there, so it is not under the die. Then I'll just bring this in. I will cut that out. Sticks to my... Okay, I'm going to lay, these are my 2 circles, and I know that came from the top, so I'm going to lay them to the side. Okay, I'm going to bring this back through. I'm going to lay that paper back down, making sure that they're stacked. I keep moving it when I go to lay it down. And I am going to lay this down at this bottom circle. So I'm doing the opposite corners. The top left, the bottom right. I'm going to put my plate back in there, and I'm going to cut it. And therefore, I need to know that those are my bottom circles. And I'm going to show you all this, why I need to know all this in here in just one second. Let me move this up because I want to show you something. Of course, this paper is easier to know what I did because it's got a pattern to it. But this is going to be the tops of my cards. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to turn these over. And I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to put a T on the back side. That way, if I go to turn my paper, I know what I've done, okay? So these are my tops. And I've laid my circles over to where I put the top ones and the bottom ones, and I'm going to bring these in, and that was the top that I cut, and here was the bottom that I cut. And I'm laying those with those so I can remember the top from the bottom because you want them to, the circles to match, because this circle might not be the exact same size as that circle, depending on how you put it in the die cut machine. Okay, so what I'm going to do, these papers are cut 5 1/8 by 3 7/8 because I only wanted a little white border around there. So I've got 2 pieces here, I only picked up one, that are 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm going to take my pieces, and I've got my T for my top, so I know that's going to be the top of my card. So I'm going to glue that. Onto my piece of white cardstock, trying to get an even measurement all the way around and get it straight, which I'm not always good at, but that's okay. It's a handmade card. So there we go. That is my first one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out of the top, I'm going to take the opposite color, which will fit in here, and I'm going to take it out of the bottom. My opposite color will fit in here. So let me go ahead and glue those in. And you just want to kind of match them up. They should match pretty easy. Oops. Whoa, lost my little thing there. Okay. See if I can get that up. It's not really good right on that edge. So I'm going to take it up. Match that edge there. Bring this one in. My glue's being a little contrary with me right now. I need to put some more glue on it probably. Oh, there. There we go. We got them in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my next one and I'm going to do the same thing with it. Because you can make 2 cards at one time with this, because with cutting the papers out like you do, you might as well go ahead and make your 2 cards. So this is my bottom. It's just a good way to use up some DSP that you have laying around. And you might want to get rid of, you know, you've had it for a while and it's like, I'm done with this. So make some extra cards. You could make these into nice little card kits and give away, like 2 birthday cards or whatever. Okay, so there we go. We have our 2 cards. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in our card bases, which is 4 1/4 by 11. We are going to fold them and just give them a good crease. And since we're using the same color for both, that way we're not wasting any cardstock. We've got 2 cards out. We're going to go ahead and glue that on. Same with here. like I said, you can use your dies like I did, or you can use, well, or you can use circle punches. I'm going to go ahead and do my inside real quick. And what I've got here is I've got two pieces, again, of 5 1/4 by 4 inch basic white cardstock. And I'm just going to glue this down into the inside of my card. I'll do that on both sides. You can make a couple cards really quick with this. And like I said, you're using up DSP. You could do more stamping on the front, but your paper is your focal point, so you know you don't have to do that. I've got two pieces cut 1 inch by 3 3/4 or thereabouts that I'm going to put on the inside, and I'm going to match my circles. So the circles have the yellow here. I'm going to put the yellow side down on this card. I think that just helps bring the inside of your card, the outside of your card into the inside. So let's just put that in there. And that's done. Now I'm going to take the other piece, whoops, and this one matches my circles here, so that I'll glue onto the inside of this card. And like I said, just kind of brings in the outside of your card into a focal point here. And there we go. So what I did for, I'm just going to be doing this sentiment here. So what I did, and I already pre-cut, is on my dies, I used the two biggest scallops, so that will be this one and this one. And then I used I forget which circle I used, this one. And then I used this circle here for my sentiment. So I kept it easy, just used one die set and all that. So I'm going to take my biggest scallop circle, and I am just going to add that here to the center of my card. And I like using this big one because it kind of brings these two to make it look like one piece of paper. I'm going to do that on both of my cards. I'm getting to the end of this glue bottle, which is alright with me, if I do. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and this is the side I messed up on, so it's always nice when paper has two sides to it. Then you can turn it over and stamp again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that onto the inside of there. Just shows the scallops. I'm going to do the same here. And lastly, to finish off my card, I'm going to take dimensionals and put on the back of them. And I really want it to stand up, so I'm using quite a few dimensionals. Okay, so let me peel those off. You can add embellishments, some jewels or something. I did that on a couple of my samples. But on these, I just kind of left them plain. I kind of liked them that way. I like the simplicity of it. So there you go. And they're finished cards. So you just open them. You can write a little note inside or whatever, and just makes a nice, pretty, happy card. These are happy cards. And like I said, on some of them, I didn't embellish on this one either, but I did on this one. I colored some of the little jewels with the Evening Evergreen color to make them kind of dark. This one I just left the jewels plain. This one I just put a jewel into the center of the little flower. So you can do all different kinds of ways on your cards here. But like I said, this is kind of mainly just to use your DSP up. And like for most of them, all but this card, all of them was using one paper, the front and the back of each sheet of paper. And so that makes it really, really nice. And you can get 6 cards out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can get 6 cards plus your little pieces for the inside out of one sheet of DSP, which is good to know. So that is my cards for today. That's what I brought to you, and just hope that you might want to make some of these quick and easy cards and use up some of that printed DSP or printed papers that you've bought elsewhere, and just get them used up. And again, like I said, you can get this PDF over at Stamp Crazy VIP, and it shows you some of the different samples using different dies and different ways to do it. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again another time. Bye.